Hello, this is Cassie B, and this is the Whatever It Takes podcast. It's December 16th right now. It's getting so close to Christmas. I've had another really busy day, and just kind of an overall feeling of being very, very happy, but also very overwhelmed because it's almost Christmas. I am, working towards finishing my projects. I'm trying to balance out work and life. I have kind of a new job that I'm training for. I feel really good, but it's a lot of emotional work, a lot of work where you just have to keep coming back to it and doing it over and over again, writing. It will be a speaking job, and I'm so excited for it, but I don't feel exhausted, but I definitely can tell that this experience is making my mind spin a little bit. You know, when you meet a whole bunch of new people and talk about a whole bunch of new stuff, and you just kind of keep playing it over and over in your mind. That's kind of where I am at right now. And it's not necessarily a bad feeling. It makes me feel like, oh, I really enjoyed this. But it's also hard to... because that feeling, I kind of try to pinpoint what I'm feeling. That feeling can lead to me feeling anxiety. It's not living in the present. It's living kind of in the past and kind of in the future. I'm imagining what already happened, but I'm also making up scenarios in my mind, not intentionally, but it does occur. So it's something I'm really keeping an eye out for. I want to be able to just go through life with the least amount of anxiety or depression or with the least amount of pain or mental anguish. And I think I've been doing pretty good. Felt some anxiety yesterday, cut it off quick. Feeling good. I've been so busy lately that I haven't been able to do yoga for a few days. It's probably been only 3 days, but that's something that helps me a lot. I know I'm gonna have to try to do some tomorrow morning to really calm down and make sure it really keeps my back pain at bay, my joint pain at bay, and that's the best feeling, not to be getting that every day, not getting back pain every day. I have 2 projects left to do. I'm going to try to do a lot of one tonight. The one I'm going to try to do is the cross stitch one. And the one, and then I just have a crochet project left. But I have so much to do on that one too. I can see myself going up to Christmas Eve without getting finishing by Christmas Eve, because I still have a ton of work, and for one of the projects I have to learn how to do a new granny square. And sometimes that can take a lot of mental energy, and just making sure I reserve some time to do that, because I tried to do it once and it didn't really happen, and just trying to improvise too. If I end up not being able to make this certain type of granny square, you know, figuring out what I'm gonna do to finish the project. I know they will get done, which is great. But also, yeah, trying to remember to do everything. It feels like in these last few days up till Christmas, it's a lot of just like not forgetting to finish this thing, not forgetting to do this. I still want to do drawing practice and drawing exercises every night. I'm going to try to do them tonight for an hour, but I don't know how it will work out because I've been at work all day, and yeah, and I still have a ton of other stuff to get done. So, just trying to be consistent and figure out how things work and how I can get them done with the least amount of pain. Yeah, and I feel like my room cleaning and my organizing is going pretty well. It's still not great, but I can see that I figured out some ways to use the stuff I already have, like the boxes and just little organization things to make it neater. After I organize everything into categories and into spots and all this stuff, I'm going to buy a few new things, but I really don't want to buy anything I don't need or is just going to end up in my closet or something. So I'm really working towards that. I don't really post too many photos to my Facebook recently because I always post my podcast. So maybe I can post some photos because I still like seeing just the photos, because when you upload them as like a picture on the podcast, they just look a little different, and I like seeing the photos in the full version, full quality, without anything cut off. Yeah, and I like looking back at them. That feels great. I'm going to go see some of my coworkers tomorrow, and yeah, I have to text one of my coworkers back after this because we're figuring out a time to meet up, and I kind of want to give them a little heads up about what time I will be there. Yeah, that was my musical rendition. Yeah, just trying to have time for everything, including this podcast. Because the later things get, the more likely I'm not going to do it. So if I learn how to do stuff later and start right away, like sometimes it's hard to do stuff late for people, I'm more likely to do it. I'm making that habit. I haven't missed a podcast, I feel like, in 10 days, which is good. It makes me happy. I've really been enjoying doing this, and I feel like some people I know actually, are watching it and sometimes give me nice comments and, inspiration, which is good and very nice of them. So I want to thank them for that, because it feels good when you make something and your friends like it and people you see a lot like it. Yeah, I'm getting it back into a lot of hobbies and activities and working on that project for work. I kind of have to dig up some stuff that I haven't thought about much. Because when I was in a bad situation, the things I used to really love when I was young, it just turned into a situation where I couldn't do those things without being stressed. Those things were no longer things I loved because they were associated with bad memories or stress, or there was very little I could do, so I had to be picky about it, but I don't have to feel like that anymore. And that's really relieving. That's a relief, I mean. So I'm trying to think about this while I write this. I guess you could call it a personal essay. And it's quite descriptive and things I might not be the best at, but people have been giving me a lot of advice, and I make sure to ask for the advice, and I make sure to write it down and just really put it in my mind, because I want this to be something that's good, and mostly we know a lot as people, but sometimes other people know more. So I really want to take their opinions and take them to heart. At times this can be a very challenging thing I'm doing. Very emotional, very, I don't know, I think it digs at your core sometimes. And you kind of have to figure out, why do I feel this way about it now? And I think the most important thing for me is to have my boundaries and to, know what I want to say and what I don't. I'm very excited to be doing this program, and I may elaborate more later. I guess I have some insecurity I built up this year too, about I think I've always been like this, not getting excited for something too early. But this year really pushed that, because I had so many jobs and so many driving schools and so many things that were like, in words, they were like, oh, you have the job, we're gonna text you your hours, and then never getting back to me. And that can be hard, because the language these people are using are like, it's language that you use with certainty. It's like, it feels like, oh, you totally got it, because that's basically what they're saying. We'll text you your hours, I couldn't read that in any other way except you got the job. And just a lot of things like that, having to deal with people who are doing things that aren't legal and having to say no to that, which I always would, but it's stressful, and it's like, it's hard. You think about those people and like, how can they do things like that? Do you sleep at night? Things like that are so stressful, because I don't know, I didn't care, and then it turns into like anxiety, where you're having dreams and you're like, you are one creepy person, I think we sometimes run into people who, they just rub us the wrong way. They're doing things that aren't good, not legal, and you just wish you never met them. They're not in my life now, but still, I get like, ugh. And just wishing, hoping, like, when you meet people like that, the only thing you can really do is like hope that they change somehow, but just be happy they're not in your life. They're gonna have to deal with the consequences of their actions, because I think, in my opinion, what I've seen from life is that there's always consequences. And that's none of my business. I'm staying in my own lane for right now. Yeah, I still think it's important that if you see something, you say something. Like if somebody's trying to pay you under the table or trying to pay you under the table an amount of money that isn't a legal amount or not, yeah, things like that. It's like somebody else is gonna get that job and that sucks. Sorry for swearing. I hardly ever do. Yeah. But yeah, it feels like a lot happened lately. I'm really working on myself and I'm working on the projects I have, and I just hope I have a nice Christmas. I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but I'm excited. Yeah. Yesterday I got to talk to my therapist, which was nice. She's always reassuring, very nice lady. Yeah, and I'm I don't really spend a lot of money on things. I'm a person who's like, if I have something like it, I don't need another one. Or I don't need this right away. I can go without. So I budget, really working hard to, save money, because I know I'll need money for college, and I know I'll need, all this stuff. And it's just nice to not, if you're in a bad situation, to be able to get out of it. And sometimes you need money to do that. If you're working a job that isn't great, having enough money to survive at least a year, food expenses, rent, electric, everything, your car, it can really save your mental state, because it's not fair you have to work a job that isn't treating you well. Yeah. I feel like so much has happened, but I also feel like not much has happened relating to me, which is a weird feeling. It's kind of, I don't know what technical word that would be, but it feels like I've been doing so much outside of my house and outside of what I'd regularly do. So I don't feel like, even though I have things to talk about, I don't feel like I have as much to talk about. Yeah. But I'm good. I'm excited for new things. I'm excited for the new year. I guess the week before the new year, I'm going to write some resolutions. I can all my Christmas cards are ready to be sent out. I just have to find my stamps. Yeah, I'm excited about that. There's so many nice people I'm sending cards to. There's so many people I like. Yeah. And I think next year I'll have to, I kind of do it like I'll print up a certain amount of cards. And then I end up not using all those cards, so I'll print out that same amount next year. And then I end up using all the cards that year, so I'll print out a little more. But if I don't use all the cards next year, I'll print out the same amount the next year after. Does that make any sense? Just kind of seeing what fits. Because I still, if I'm able to, I want to send cards to people who might not be in my immediate circle. So that, so that we can kind of reconnect. And I think that keeps growing. Yeah. I am really looking forward to the new year. I kind of want to do a lot of baking in the new year. I guess what I want to focus on is baking like loaves, like a blueberry loaf, or blueberry bread, whatever you call it, or lemon bread, lemon loaf, things like that. Yeah, that will be really fun. I guess I want to do it every week, because I think it would reduce the money I spend too. And even if it doesn't, it would just give me a better quality of life. I think baked goods can do that. Just make you feel like you're treating yourself well. You go out your way to do this once a week. You make yourself like a savory bread. And then you make yourself a sweet bread and like a blueberry bread. And I don't know, I think for me that has a lot of love attached to it. Somebody once made me a blueberry loaf, and it was really the best blueberry item I've ever had. Yeah. They were such a nice person. Sadly, they passed away a little while ago. But they are in heaven now. Yeah, such a nice memory, There's so many memories we have of people who passed. And just trying to remember it in a happy way. Because hopefully wherever they are now, they aren't in pain. They aren't suffering. They're able to live a life that feels full and that feels really, really good. Who knows what happens when we die? But we can only look on those people who died with love. Sad. But I'm not sad. But it's hard to lose people. Yeah, for whatever reason, health, age. It is just something that I look at as like happy and sad. I'm happy that they're no longer in pain and that hopefully they'll get to meet Jesus or whatever happens or feel his love. But I'm sad that they're no longer able to be with us and they don't get to maybe they had things they wanted to do. Hopefully they can live without doing their chores. But, it is hard. I would like to do some pottery in the upcoming year. That's something I did for the first time this year. I think it was in the summer. I would go, I think on Saturdays I would go to pottery. And it was a cool thing where you could sign up for after hours where you just go in and practice by yourself. And sadly I didn't get to do that very much because I was looking for a job, but if I was able to do it, I would want to kind of schedule all my time around that, like all my free time, so that I would be able to get a lot out of it, really practice. And it's kind of an expensive hobby, not the most expensive, but I think 8 weeks was about $310, and then you have to buy clay, and depending on if you want to make something big, you might have to buy more quicker, and it's something I want to do, but also every time the class ends, every 8 weeks, I feel like I need a break, because it is a lot of money, and it's a lot of time, and yeah, walking quite far to the studio, and just a lot of time. So I want to definitely do that, pick up hobbies again. Hopefully I can do good in this program and it won't fall through. It's like I'm always okay when it does, but it does affect my self-esteem, and it affects my ability to kind of trust that things will work out. I always know things will work out, but when people say, oh, it's for sure, and then, or you look and you're like, this is gonna be okay, and then it's not easy at all, which it doesn't have to be, but sometimes there's a lot of people who, aren't very professional or responsible, and yeah, just trying to avoid that. And it's hard when you have to go through companies to get like your license and other things, and yeah, I just hope I can find somebody good. I'll be praying about it. Yeah, so that'll be really fun. Once I do get my license, things will be easier. But I'm finally getting re-inspired to take public transportation and to ride my bikes places, because I'm okay doing that. Riding my bike places when it's not like every day. I couldn't ride my bike 4 miles there and 4 miles back like 5 days a week. I think I could, but it would have to be a really, healthy mental space. I'd just have to take a lot of precautions, because that's a lot. I know people do that, at a 5-day job. They'll ride their bike. But for me, I know that I just hate waking up with joint pain. I might not stretch as much as I need to. I might not. I don't have the energy to go every day, but I can definitely do it like 3 times a week, and learn how to get to a lot of places, and how to not have to ride my bike on the highway, Yeah. Yeah, I do believe I can definitely do it. And I'm excited. I might not sound like I have tons of energy right now, but I have, and in the overall picture, I have a lot of energy now. Yeah, and I think that's where I'm gonna stop today. I always try to do 30 minutes, because when I do, I just get a lot of inspiration and kind of get a boost of energy, even when I'm tired. I never want to push myself, but I do want to form these habits, and it's easier to do that for me when I do it kind of the same each time. Well, that's it for today. This is the Whatever It Takes podcast. Thank you so much.